Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing? My name is Suraya, and on behalf of MICPA, I would like to warmly welcome you all to our virtual forum titled Women Who Count. Today, we are celebrating International Women's Day a little in advance, while the official day is on Sunday, actually. I truly believe that every day is an opportunity to celebrate women, their achievement, their resilience, and the many small and big wins along the way. We are very, very much delighted to have all of you here with us today. Thank you for your time in joining us and as our wonderful panel of speakers for today's event. But before we commence, guys, some quick housekeeping. Now, if you have any questions at any point during the forum, you guys can actually type in the chat. We're going to have a Q&A session at the end. We also would love to hear a feedback from you. Toward the end of the session, we will display a QR code for you to scan and please leave your thoughts, your suggestions so we can improve better in terms of our future events. And of course, before we begin and kick off the forum, we are going to have a group photo session. When I send the Zoom link to you guys via email, I did attach a Zoom background. So if you guys can, please, use the Zoom background, turn on your camera and join the group photo session. I know Malaysian sometimes can be very shy, so let's today just santai-santai casual. Okay, let's take a memory together later. Okay, so I hope everyone's ready. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce our moderator for the panel discussion who will be kicking off the session. She is Reena Awliyatul Merican, or known as Ollie. Ollie is currently the Assistant Vice President in Strategic Planning at LTAT and a member of MICPA. She began her career in audit and assurance with EY before gaining international experience in fund accounting at RBC. With a strong background across audit, finance, and institutional strategy, Ollie contributes to strategy initiatives within LTAT, supporting the development and execution of corporate strategy across the organization. Now, of course, Ollie is not alone today, guys. As you guys can see, our panel of speakers are already ready to kick off the conversation. Joining Ollie, we have Katherine Kok, MICPA member and a director of PwC Malaysia. Next, we have Leah, Abigail, Guing, MICPA member as well, a senior manager from Securities Commission. And last but not least, fly all the way from UK, we have our beloved member also, Zatul Yusoh, who are finance transformation and M&A consultant. Okay, so before we kick off, maybe we do a warm-up also to do a group photo session with all participants. I will actually maybe stop sharing already. Attendees, you guys can actually turn on your camera and take a good photo. Let's see how many of you guys actually turn on your camera. Okay, Masuri, maybe you take a photo first of our panelists.
All right. 1, 2, 3. All right, one more time. Good.
Okay. Maybe everyone still wanna warm up. Maybe if you can, we can do it again, the group photo session later towards the end if you have time. So I don't want to delay the session. I'll pass the floor to Ollie to start the forum. Ollie, over to you.
All right. Thank you. Assalamualaikum. Good evening, everyone. And most of all, regardless that the real day is on Sunday, happy International Women's Day to everyone on this call. So first of all, thank you to Soraya for the kind introduction. And for those I haven't met yet, physically or virtually, hi, I'm Ollie, and I'll be serving as your moderator for this session. And it's truly a pleasure to be here with all of you today for a session specially organized by MICPA for us women. You know, it brings together incredible women in a profession where numbers may be the language, but people are always the real story. And today's session is titled Women Who Count, Give to Gain. And I love that theme because in our profession, counting isn't just about financial statements or balance sheet or even audit trails. It's also about the impact, the contributions we make to our organization, to our communities, to the people around us in general. And women who count are not just women who lead, who mentors, but it's also women who uplift others and who, understand that sometimes the most powerful investment that we can make is actually in each other. And the second part, I know I'm blabbing a lot, but like I just want everyone to truly understand the topic, the intensity that I have of love that I have towards this topic. Give to gain is also such a powerful theme because women who share knowledge, who support one another, open doors for generation, what we gain back is often far bigger. We get stronger careers, we get stronger networks, and stronger communities for sure. So today, as what Soraya has mentioned, we're going to hear from an incredible panel of women who truly embodies this spirit. So women who have built remarkable careers globally, who have navigated challenges and continue to give back in meaningful ways. And I'm really, really excited for this conversation ahead. And I hope everyone leaves this session today feeling inspired or empowered and maybe even more connected to all the amazing women in this session. So just before I start, just another kind reminder again that we are making this a two-way street. So any questions, anything at all that the speakers will be sharing that might, trigger something in you that you might want to ask more, like go ahead, just put the questions in the chat box. Or if you do feel like you want to speak up, we'll have a Q&A session at the end. All you have to do is just click the button, raise your hand, and then we'll get to the Q&A lah. Yeah. So okay. So with that, let's get started. So just to make sure that everyone is still in after my long introduction, can I just get a bit of a reaction from each one of you in this chat? Like love or yes, I see them coming. Amazing, 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 amazing. So I'm pretty sure our panel are also all very, very much excited to, to give their sharing. So without further ado, we'll have some introduction and we'll give the opportunity to the panelists to have their own introduction. Yeah. So maybe I will start with Katherine. We have three here, so we'll start with Katherine. But what I want each of my panel to pretty much cover in this introduction of yours, aside from your name, your career background, but also like the whole journey, like when you chose to take up accounting and especially the MICPA qualification, and how it has led you to where you are now, balancing multiple roles, a professional, a mother, a daughter, a wife, how challenging it could have been, and how you have, navigated through the challenges. So maybe we'll start with Katherine, yeah?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Ollie. So maybe I'll just do a very quick intro of myself. My name is Katherine. So I'm an audit director in PwC. So I sort of like started my journey as my first permanent job with PwC right after I graduate, or rather, it will also link because of MICPA, because I started off with the student program. I was the pioneer back then that had the program in my last year of uni. Right. So actually, I look back, I think that was the best decision I have made at the point, because I have not imagined that, okay, what will means to me in this career path if I actually have not that professional in place. So maybe going back to what Ollie has started off the conversations, talking about the topic of the day, right? Give to gain. Actually, I do. What I actually echo a little bit more on that topic is one term: support. Right, so I guess especially women, right, there's so many roles that you're playing on a daily basis, right? Maybe at this moment you are a daughter, maybe another moment you are the audit director like myself, right? Because we do apply a hybrid working arrangement. So sometimes while I'm speaking to you all, maybe my parents walking around, maybe I have my fur kids walking around with me. So there's multi-role actually play at the same time, right? But I guess what is really crucial in my multiple role on a daily basis is really the support system, right? Be it the support system from the work environment, being the support system from the family. I think that sort of helped me to stay in sync between the work and my personal life, right? So that I can sort of like have multiple support system across the day. So I guess coming back to the term support is that the support wouldn't come naturally. It have to come by giving first. I'll put it this way, right? So on my early days of my career path, I think the role that I'm playing is more trying to help, right? So that in return, in my mind, that I'm hoping, okay, while I'm helping people today, in return, someone will actually help me when I actually needed help. So I think this does help through my journey of I spent about 14 years in PwC. I think that philosophy sort of like helped my journey and is sort of like support me throughout the peak and also the crazy moments that I have facing. So I think that's really critical, that don't mind helping to begin with, because you wouldn't know at which point in time that actually that assistant will come back. So it then will come back to the mentoring. I will share a little bit more maybe in the later part of the forum. So maybe I will just pause here so that I can pass time to the other panel to share a little bit more, so that I don't drag on the sections. Yeah. Maybe Ollie, back to you.
Thank you, Katherine. Very, very, very interesting, and you're very much right. When I was in audit, I felt that as well. Like you gotta give to get. I think this topic is very, very much relatable. Maybe we can continue with Leah.
Thank you, Ollie. Hi, everyone. So, just a brief introduction about myself. My name is Leah Abigail. You can call me Leah. You can call me Abigail. Either way is fine. I am currently doing surveillance work with Securities Commission. So basically, what I do is I monitor public listed companies and see whether there's any irregularities in terms of corporate governance or any breach of the law. So basically, that's what I do currently at work. I actually started out my career journey as an auditor as well. Like Katherine, I did audit. My first career was audit. I did audit with Video Malaysia, and the reason why I did audit with Video Malaysia is also because of MICPA. I was under one of their scholarship program whereby they sponsor me to do MICPA, and in return I have to work with them. So my first ever professional job is being an auditor. So I was an auditor for I think 4 or 5 years. I started off in Video Malaysia, and then I got seconded to Video US for a couple of years. So I did 2 years in Los Angeles, Video US. So sort of like having an exposure in US GAAP, in IFRS, MFRS. So, and then, so obviously after audit, I went to Securities Commission Malaysia. So outside of work, I'm actually a mom of 2. I have 2 beautiful, naughty boys. They're 4 and 2 years old. So obviously, aside from work, I have to juggle my 2 boys as well, because they're very active. I do not know where they get that kind of energy going through the day in, day out. So obviously outside of work, aside from being a mom, I do enjoy. I recently started my fitness journey. Restarted my fitness journey now that my second boy is 2 years old. I started my fitness journey because I feel like I need to be stronger to keep up with those 2 energy. So yeah, basically that's about me.
Amazing. A mom of 2 boys. I have 1 girl, and I still don't know how to balance it all just yet. Amazing. Thank you, Leah, for sharing. All right. Now let's move on to our third panel. Last but not least, of course, Zatul, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. So I'm trying to mix Malay and English because I miss speaking Malay. So if anyone doesn't understand Malay, just raise your hand up or let Oli know. So first and foremost, I'm citizen of Malaysia, even though I live in London for the past 20 years. I'm citizen of Malaysia and Muslim, as you can see. And I'm a mom of one son. He's already 18 years old, going to university in September, inshallah. Let's see. And he's taking A level right now. So, and then I'm a wife as well. My husband is also Malaysian from Penang. And I got married first before I moved to the UK. My dad said, no, 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 you're not going outside Malaysia until you have someone with you. So quickly got married before I move over. And then I'm also a career woman here in London. I started my career journey after graduated from UIA, Malaysia, with Ernst and Young. And then straight away, I know accountants, there's so many of them with a degree. I need to set myself apart. So I took additional qualification with MICPA. I chose MICPA because everyone says it's the hardest exam at the time. And this is more than 20 years ago. So I'm probably before, the program that you guys have right now, before the scholarship or whatnot. So this is the old syllabus. It's the toughest exams. I said, why not? Just take it. I want to test myself. And I took MICPA. I stayed with EY for about 4 years. And then I got an offer to work with Deloitte UK. So I moved over, got married, moved over to the UK in 2006. So since then, I've been in the UK, stuck here. Every year I said, I want to go home, but Allah rezeki in the UK, so I can't say no. I stayed with Deloitte for about 5 years. So in total, 10 years, I was in audit and assurance, specifically in financial services sector and also real estate sector. I audited Cadbury when they were being acquired by Kraft. I audited Jaguar Land Rover in the UK. I audited Chorus Tata Steel. So those are the big clients that I audited when I was with Deloitte. When I was with EY, it was Golden Hope, and there are a few construction companies I can't remember exactly. And then I joined fund and asset management industry in London. And climbing up my corporate ladder as a group accountant at first when I left Deloitte, joined as a group accountant and slowly climbing up to a finance director of a global asset management company. I manage finance team across 8 countries in Europe and the US. And then now I've become a freelance consultant focusing on merger and acquisitions, specifically post-merger integration for finance departments. So basically, if companies merge together or acquired by another company, I'll be coming in to help integrate their finance department better. So from 2 systems become 1, 2 teams become 1, restructure the team, restructure the process, just to make sure the finance department running efficiently. So that's my job right now. At home, I don't have to chase after boys anymore. My son man himself. My husband worked for a bank, German bank here in London. So that's it about me. We'll talk more later when we have more questions about background and stuff.
Amazing, amazing. I feel so inspired. Probably will have a chat with my husband whether we should start moving over to UK or Australia or New Zealand or somewhere.
Come over.
But anyways, thank you so much. What a great introduction. And it pretty much flows into the theme that we are talking about, to my next question that I have. And I want to direct this question to Katherine, because in your introduction, you mentioned about support system and how amazing of a support system you have, and how it's different. You have your family as a support system. You also have another set of support system at work. So there's different types, professionally or personally. So maybe for Katherine, in your career, what's one skill or support or opportunity that you gave to others that has somehow unexpectedly helped you gain back in terms of maybe your career growth or visibility, because clearly when we usually help others, it's without the expectation of getting anything in return. We help because we want to assist, support. So maybe you can share more about that, Katherine.
Yeah, Ollie. So maybe I will just try to refresh my memory when I started off the journey, right? So I guess most of us are here started off as an auditor, right? So the common perspective to everyone is that, okay, auditor, you have to work late, there's no work-life balance, you have to work like crazy all the weekends, right? Never ending deadline. So when I started on the journey, I have the similar perspective, but I guess I was also lucky, right? I sort of like met a group of people that actually respect of time, right? So when I say that, everyone is very aware of what need to be delivered, right? Everyone is very aware of what is a cutoff, right? So I was lucky in the sense that because it's not so easy for you to get actually a group of a peer or actually superiors to work with to have a similar perspective at work, right? So everyone is very aligned in terms of prioritizing what is crucial for the day and then having a proper cutoff between the work and also the personal. So to a certain extent, we sort of like, I mean, of course, we don't start off that smoothly at the very beginning, but slowly over time, then we realize that, okay, actually, we need to find a way to survive together, right? It's talking about how to sustain the workload that we're having now. So we start to apply some of the, I wouldn't say culture, but rather like a routine, right? So we will set like a cutoff time, right? Of course, ideally, a cutoff time may not be always met, but if everyone in their mind having a similar aim that, okay, let's at least a week we cut off like 7s to actually go home for dinner with the family. So I think we started off with something small, right? Then it become like a habit, and eventually everyone is kind of comfortable with that. But I do notice that actually this thing doesn't apply to everyone in the firm, right? Because everyone may have a different value in life where they are workaholics, right? We must admit that they are workaholic, right? That their life is only 24/7 working, but they are people that actually like us having a multiple role to take care. So we can't afford to spend 24/7 just on work. Let's be honest about it. So I think everyone is aware of that and setting up a rules, right? How does the support system should work? So maybe I just want to give a very simple example, which relevance to where we are now. So I guess some of you will be familiar that the audit generally is paid between the January to the March period, right? So that's where a lot of festive season happening this year. So we just finished the Chinese New Year like 3 weeks ago, right? Just had Chinese New Year 3 weeks ago, and then Raya is coming I think another 3 weeks, right? So there is a lot of things happening between where you need to juggle your family. You have to balik kampung, you have to spend some time do your grocery shopping, etc. So I guess with a team with a mixture of different races does help, because at the point where, let's say for Chinese New Year, the Chinese probably have to go for preparing the Chinese New Year stuff, everything. The non-Chinese actually will come in to actually help to on a standby if, let's say, there are something urgent required by the clients or by the necessary stakeholder. So I guess that kind of support system work, because in return, when the Raya come or the Deepavali come or other Christmas, etc., the similar rotation does happen naturally. So I guess fundamentally, what I'm trying to share is that when the give and gain thing is actually always come two ways, right? So it's not like always intentionally you want to do it, but because you want to do a favor. So when you started off with a favor, then you realize that actually the favor eventually will come back to you, right? And I guess Oli, you asked me what are the one key skill that actually I learned over my journey is to survive, right? So to survive, I think the fundamental thing probably is be open. Be open in the sense that there's always many ways to solve something, right? And there is not always you have to be the one that solved that something, right? That's what it links back to the support system, right? When you think, okay, when you are open, you realize that, okay, this is something that is beyond you. So that's where you need to ask for help. That's where your support system is there to actually sort of like help you. Because I always believe that in any corporate world, no one will let an individual just die off themselves, right? So the support system, like it, don't like it, in a happy or not happy way, it will still happen, because ultimately, especially when in the service line, service is still the priority. So eventually, yes, there is some unhappiness, but when the support system you come in, it does come in. So to me, I think that does help me a lot. Be open to option, right? Be open to who actually can help you, and be open to help people when they actually need it, right? So that when that does help me working, because I realize that when I being open to a lot of things get easier, you know. It goes, when I start with myself, then I realize that a lot of things become so difficult. But probably when I speak to someone that is more experienced to me, the person will say, actually, this way is so easy. Why you have to keep your hands on it and worry about this thing? Maybe I can just give a call to who and who and actually discuss, and actually things are settled. So same applies to when I have my team member. I actually share similar thought, because you then realize that some of them are struggling. Especially, I guess, after the COVID, I think a lot of things change, right? When we have a little bit more hybrid mode, where there are a lot of options on working where you from. But the mental support actually is critical, because those days when we are more physical in person, the support come easier. But when we actually virtual and they are distant, the support may not come that instant until the person actually crying for it, right? So being a little bit more alert to people that the moral, oh sorry, I wouldn't say moral, the morale of the people that actually surrounding you, whether they are doing okay or not okay. Because I do observe that actually people nowadays, of course, we say, okay, there's a new generations, etc. But the different value and different needs, you can observe it quite obvious, because not so much on just the physical, but it's also the mental support in person. Especially, I guess, it's also with women. If I may say this, is that I guess women are a little bit more emotional compared to the men's, right? Some of the things the men's actually don't think is a big deal, but for the women, maybe, okay, we feel a bit when certain statement is being made on us, right? And there are too many expectations on us being made. So I guess that is also a little bit of change when I observe from my past 14 years in the firm. Yeah. So maybe go back to you, Oli.
Yeah, Katherine, I can relate so much to what you say, and I think I can throw out so many words to summarize that. There's like, yes, you said eventually is to survive, but I think it's derived from so much more, like respect, having trust, building trust, and with that comes flexibility, because then you understand everyone's situation in order for you to, you know, to give to gain. And I can so relate to you, because when I first joined audit, just to share, I remember leader, a mentor of mine once said, oh, in audit, there's actually 4 cards that you're being dealt with. And sometimes if you're lucky, you get a 4. But otherwise, on the best of days, you usually get 2, which is client, workload, boss, and then your team. So you either get all 4 great, or all 4 not great, or you'll get 2 of these. And these are the these are like the main factors that will help you survive throughout the tough, the toughness of audit. Let's call a spade a spade. But yes, thank you so much for sharing that. And so moving on to my next question, and I think I'm going to be directing this question to Leah, because you've had experiences in audit, and then you've also had exposure in the US with different standards to adapt to, maybe because I see that women in accounting, at least for my observation, women in accounting often juggle high expectations. And I think Katherine briefly mentioned this, you know, at work and at home, how we care more immensely about the things that we do. So maybe for Leah, what's one boundary or a mindset or a habit, like you said, now that your second child is 2, you've restarted your fitness career your fitness journey, right? So what's one of those things that you had to give up in order to gain resilience? So what's something that you've always done maybe that you have to give up for something better long term? Maybe you can share over your, colorful background this past years.
Okay, since I guess school, I've always been taught that everything that I do has to be perfect. It has to be up to standards. But along the way, my career journey, as I grow, I think that one mindset I had to let go of was the idea of everything has to be perfect. So I know in accounting, this seems like a bit contradict because accounting is linear. Accounting trains us to be extremely precise. Every debit must match a credit. Every debit must have a credit. And even me doing regulatory works, every conclusion must be supported by evidence. Everything must have a basis and justification to it. So that discipline is actually very important in our line of work. But then along the way, I realized that if you apply the same level of perfectionism in life, in every aspect of life, in work, in your personal life, it can be exhausting. You would burn out really fast. And at some point, I realized that sometimes good enough is actually good enough, so I know in my line of work, I have to be perfect. I have to, everything must have a basis, everything must be supported, everything must be extremely precise. Because in my line of work, it's very, how do you say it? It's very sensitive, I would say. So everything must have a reason to it. So at work, it can be exhausting. But if I choose to have this kind of mindset outside of work as well, where everything has to be perfect, my son has to be this tall by the time he's like 5, 6 years old. I'm gonna go crazy because I would overthink everything. So at work, yes, I have to be perfect. I have to do things up to the required standard. But outside of work, I think that I don't have to go through the extreme to get the results that I want, because as human we tend to do mistakes. So there's no reason for us to not accept that we're not perfect, and sometimes being good enough is actually good enough. I had to let go the idea of being a perfect mom, the perfect wife, the perfect daughter, the perfect partner. So by learning to ask for help, whether it's from my husband, my family, my friends. When people ask me, Leah, how do you juggle life with 2 boys, and how do you, stay to be the perfect wife, the perfect partner, and the perfect employee at work? It goes back to what Katherine shared earlier, being about having support. Um, raising 2 boys is not easy. I'm actually from Kuching, Sarawak. So when moving to KL, I don't really have like my whole relatives here, but I have one sister here, and most of my in-laws are here. And I don't think I could survive this well without them. So they're the village that helped me to raise my child. And when it comes to my village, it's not just about my family. There are also my friends that help me, my colleagues as well. Because at work, most of my colleagues are also working moms. They're also juggling multiple roles, and I actually learn a lot from them. Because at work, they perform so well. At first, before I was a mom, when I met them, they have like 3, 4 kids, and they seem to be on top of it at their work. So naturally, I would think they can be so good at work. what about if they're outside work? They must be perfect as well. They would be like the perfect mom, perfect woman. So that at that point I was thinking, wow, this is what I aspire to be at the top of it at work and at home. And then when I started talking to them, and then they started telling me, oh, actually, they're even though they're really good at their work, doesn't mean that it looks the same as well outside of work, because they say like, oh, do you? I sometimes ask them, do you go home and cook every night? Do you cook for your family? Like, because by the way, the traffic in KL nowadays are very terrible. It would take about 1 to 2 hours just to go to work and go back home during rush hour traffic. So sometimes I would ask them like, do you guys really have time to cook, to help your kids with homework, to clean the house? Like, how do you do all that? At Before I was a mom, I kept thinking like, how do you guys do all that? And then now that I'm a mom, I keep finding myself not having enough time to do all this. So I started asking them, and they say, oh, actually, we don't. And I was surprised because growing up, my mom and my friend's mom would cook every day for them. Every night they would eat like a home cooked dinner. And I felt like I'm not really a good mom because I don't really cook for my kids every day. So I feel like I was lacking in that sense. So when I talk to them, like, how do you guys cook? Like, I always find myself not having the time to cook, not having the time to play with my kids after I finish work, not having enough time to clean the house. And apparently they say sometimes you don't need to cook. Sometimes they just don't cook at all during weekdays. They just cook in the weekend. And then the house, they have sort of like a big, one of my colleagues told me, they have like this big basket of shame in the house. So every time the house is messy, they just collect everything and put inside the basket. So they hide everything in there and they'll deal with it later, maybe during the weekend or when they're on leave or something. So I feel like when they open up to me that way, that's when I realized that I don't have to be perfect. I just have to do enough, especially for my kids and my husband and my family, to feel like I'm there instead of seeing me being busy cleaning the house or cook. And I'm very lucky also in the sense that my husband supports me, in terms of house chores. So I can focus on being a present mom at home. So I guess if there's one habit that I have to give up, is, I would say, perfectionism lah. Because like when I didn't learn how to let go immediately. I actually learned how to let go slowly. So along the way, when I learned how to let go, just being there, being good enough for them, made a huge difference in making both my career and personal life more sustainable lah. I would say that would be it lah, to answer your question, Ollie.
Yeah. No, sorry,
Leah,
Catherine, yes?
sorry, if I could add on, Leah, I think
Sure.
what the key terms that relates to me a little bit more, eventually you don't need to be perfect. You just have to try your best, right, on things that currently ongoing, because the future is too far away, right? So it's more like be present at the moment, try your best, and then be present. So I guess that is also quite related to my daily life, right? Because you know the fact that nothing is perfect, right? So no one is perfect in the world, right? So don't be too harsh to ourselves, right? And I guess another thing to add on is that over the journey, I also realized that of course we have so many stakeholders to prioritize, but one of the key stakeholder we shouldn't forget is ourselves, right? So it's the me time that actually try to protect. I guess that's why Leah start to also have some fitness class ongoing, so that is also a protected me time for yourself, so that you, while taking care of the rest, you also taking care of yourself. So just want to add on that bit. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, both of you, and I love how we highlighted one thing. When we say we let go of perfectionism, it does not necessarily mean that we are being present at a less of 100% at work or at home. It's just we are pretty much drawing boundaries. We are detaching, and I think in my generation, I'm 29, so I'm pretty much a Gen Z or a Zillennial, somewhere there. But I see a lot of my friends having the issue of personifying their career as themselves, and that's it. And maybe this is just a phase because we've just some of them just started working, and work has become them is work. But it's becoming more permanent over time, especially especially if they are a workaholic, or their main priority is entirely work, which is, again, as you've said it earlier, I think, Katherine, that it's nothing wrong. It's all about respecting what people prioritize, and it's totally fine. But I love what Leah highlighted, at the fact that, women at work and women at home are an entirely different identity, and it's okay. And I just realized that I might also have a basket of shame also somewhere hidden under the stairs. I think it's a common theme there. So yeah, thank you so much. All right, so moving on to the next part, because we've covered quite a few things. We've covered what are some things that we unexpectedly give and gain more. What are some things that we ourselves have to forego, like perfectionism? And like for Leah, you're now taking up the challenge of prioritizing your fitness journey. That's amazing. And I think this next part, given that Zatul, like yourself, you've gone through also such a colorful career, being over 10 years in audit, and now you're a freelance advisor. Maybe you can share a bit of, how can we women in here, in this call, in this forum, how can women, especially maybe in the accounting profession, how do we actively give? Because you are in the leadership role at the moment. So how can we actively give through leadership, or sisterhood or allyship to other women, to gain access to opportunities, especially in sectors that are traditionally dominated by men? Because I think there is still some friction going on in corporate spaces amongst women that can be further refined, if we understand more that, the more we give, the more we gain. So maybe you can help, bring light to us, Zatul.
Yes, male dominated worlds in certain areas. How we can actively give. I think first and foremost, we women, we should regard ourselves and our peers not as competition, but as teammates. Because I remember one of the phrase, if I'm not mistaken, it sounds like, to go up, we don't stamp on others, but we lift others up to be able to lift ourselves up, right? So that's exactly true. You don't step on others to go up. You lift others so others can live up to you. It's the same applies. Women, we should regard each other as friends, as teammates. We push each other up. And how to do that? There's so many ways. First and foremost, judgment. Do not judge other people. If you don't judge other people, people don't judge you. So, like, I want to relate back to what Katherine has said and Leah has said. Katherine mentioned about support and help, and Leah mentioned about perfectionists. You see, she sees people like perfect mom, perfect wife, perfect employee. Nothing is perfect. You are right, Leah. It's all on the surface. We judge people on the surface, but deep inside, behind the scene, they facing a lot of things. Maybe we don't know. So do not judge. I hear in different world, different country than Malaysia, I do not have support system. I have to rely on kind of strangers around me to ask for help. So I don't judge people like, okay, she can't help me. That person can help me. This person is not good enough. That person is good enough. This person is stupid. That person is clever. No, you won't survive if you keep judging people. And when you judge people, people judge you. It comes across that way. That the vibes you're passing on to people, and it comes back to you. So don't judge. That's the first thing. As a woman, in a working world, whether it's male dominated or woman dominated or whatever world you are working on as in your career, accounting, whether you work with younger people or older people, do not judge because everyone has their strengths and weakness. So do you, right? So regard each other as teammates and remember to bring each other up so you can go up too. People remember how you make them feel. They don't remember what you speak or what you do. They remember how you make them feel. So make them feel supported, make them feel helped. They have people like you out there who can, we be successful together. So always remember that judgment, help, support is all important for us to move forward, to progress. And another way, I'm going to summarize because I don't want to take too much time. If you have a question after this, feel free to ask if you want to know specific. Another way is communication and be confident. Women is lacking this everywhere, whether in the UK or in Malaysia, developed countries. Confidence and communication, these two tie in together. If you have confidence, you can speak. If you don't speak, you don't get confidence. So it's like chicken and egg. You have to start somewhere. Speak, 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 speak. You go to a meeting, speak. Go to your boss, speak. Go to your colleague, speak. Speak your idea. Again, do not judge people like, okay, she won't understand me if I say like this. She will judge me. She will think I'm stupid if I ask this. Do not judge. Just speak. So what if they think you're stupid? So what if they think you are wrong? You speak your idea. Your intention is good. You don't want to bring other people down. Your intention is trying to help your team, trying to help your boss. So speak your idea, speak your solution, speak whatever. Ask questions. I always notice women, they do not ask questions because first, we have low self-esteem because we feel like we are not as good as men. Why? We are the same creatures. Why? Why we are not good as men? We created the same, well, not exactly the same way, but we are human, right? So why we must feeling that way? And then I notice when I go to Malaysia, where I speak to students in Malaysia, they speak very meekly, very soft tone. Speak up, girls. Speak up because when you speak up, when you speak in a good tone, people can hear your voice and can hear what you are saying clearly, and they can respond clearly. If they don't hear you, if you just mumbling, how can they respond? They don't know what you're saying. So speak so that you get confidence. And the more confidence you get, the more you speak up. Okay? So be yourself, speak up, stand out, and men will look up to you. Men will see you. Or if not even men, just other women as well. And help the other women speak up too. So that is another way of getting yourself noticed and getting women up there noticed and highlight our strength. We have a lot of strengths, guys. Otherwise, God doesn't give us to birth to children, doesn't give us extra emotion to be strong, doesn't give us all these abilities to juggling a lot of tasks in our daily life. Us men to do multitasking, can they do it as good as us? I don't think, maybe 50% of them, but we can do better, right? So we have a lot of strengths. Stand up to that.
Love it,
That's
love
all.
it,
Sorry.
love it. No, love it. I love it. I hope everyone in this forum also feel as what's the English word? As empowered, as membara, as empowered that I am feeling right now. I need to like turn on my aircon because it's heating up, because you're definitely right. One key thing that I love to take away is that you said at the start that in order for you to lift yourself, you have to lift others, not by stepping on others, but you have to lift others. And and you are entirely right about the communication, the confidence part. A lot of the times, opportunities are being presented to us women, and it's the matter of us having to grab it. It's right there in front of us. It's now our responsibility, our role to grab it, to grab what we deserve. Because as you said, we are equal. If not better, I can reverse my car in while having a conversation. My husband can't, because you're right. The moment he has to reverse, then his focus is on not crashing. But you're entirely right. And thank you so much for sharing. I was wondering if Leah or Katherine wants to add on to this, or shall I move on to the next question?
I guess maybe just to add on, I think that is really so true that I guess it's really the confidence level that actually helps a lot, right? When people worry to make mistake, but you would then realize that actually after you do it, it's not as scary as you thought, right? What's the big deal even you ask the stupid questions, right? What's the big deal if you say something wrong? Just correct it. If you find, okay, that is the correct answer, then just correct it, acknowledge it, and then okay, that's the answer to that particular questions, right? So it's always good to try. I always believe this one thing is that you do it, you either get it as a merit point or you learn through the process, right? So there's no harm doing it, and there's a lot more benefits than what you taught by just do a little bit more. A simple thing, just speak up, right? Like what Zatul mentions, because that's the start where people realize the presence of you. By just simple thing, just ask questions in any forum. People here will actually remember your name, as simple as that, right? So I think I do anchor a lot on that point. That's Zatul share. Yeah.
So ladies, if you have any questions, this is your time to shine. Raise your hand, make us remember your name. But yes, okay, but it's okay. We'll give you guys time to warm up. But the next part of this is pretty much I want to draw all of my panelists focus towards giving the best advice that you might have throughout your professional and personal life for the women in this forum, because I think many aspirational young female accountants or leaders in general look forward to advancing their career. But sometimes they have these reservations because, every one of us have taken the next phases of life at different ages. Some may have gotten married immediately after graduation, had become a mother immediately. Some had waited until maybe after their 30s. Some had continued taking their MICPA, CA, and Z qualifying program straight away. So sometimes they have these reservations or if I may say, fear on taking the next step, So maybe from your perspective, how can this MICPA, CA, and Z qualifying program empower women to take charge of their careers at different stages? Because just to share, Zatul, if you took 20 years, I took it 5 years ago. I still took sort of for the same reason as well, aside from the fact that I studied in New Zealand and it just made sense. But it was also because, it was the hardest one. I want to do that. That narrative is still there, regardless of the fact that it's an open book, or during my time at least. the narrative was still there that, oh, MICPA was the hardest. So it makes it the most worth it, at least, in the conversations that I have with my friends. So maybe Zatul, you can go ahead, I mean, how can this program, empower women to take charge of their careers, or just how can this program probably give a nudge for them to go for it?
Okay. Yeah, it's the hardest exam. That's why I took it. It's also give us pride, right? When we took on something hard, it gave us pride. And then when I went for interviews, when they know I have made, I thought, wow, that's difficult. How can you get past that? That's already boost our confidence. The first thing that they say, wow, that's really hard. And you passed it? Yeah, I passed it. First time passes. That's already give me confidence without even explaining about my capabilities, my competencies. That's already have confidence in me. So passing the exam or taking the exam already give you confidence naturally, and then you carry that brand along with you. And when I came to the UK, MICPA is Malaysian qualification. I was thinking, oh, maybe they don't recognize it in the UK. Maybe they do, but how am I competing with ACCA or the rest of the international recognized exam? They do actually recognize. They say, oh, MICPA, okay, I know you're technically competent. Now I want to know your personality. So that's how 50% of work done. They already verified me as technically competent because they know MICPA. They know how difficult the exam is. And in the UK, MICPA is kind of equivalent to ICAEW, Institute of Chartered Accountants, England and Wales. And that's how high MICPA is regarded. Okay, because it's a difficult exam. Okay, ACCA is a good exam. A lot of people taking ACCA as well. But there are so many of them, it's kind of diluted. The reputation bit diluted a bit. And when MICPA was the same as SCAW, it seems like very exclusive perception, you know? I have ICAW as well. Recently, I got past ICAW. It's so easy to get it having MICPA. I just need to present business case based on my experience. It's so easy to get other qualification if you want to. So sorry, I got lost track my train of thought. What is your question? How do I use MICPA?
To
Okay.
boost, to empower women to take charge of their careers at different stages, either at entry level or at a mid-management level or whatnot,
Yeah. Okay. So when you have additional qualification than your degree, people see you as differently. People see you as like, okay, you are not just university student, but you are juggling between exams and difficult exams and your career at the same time. And professional qualification is not the same as when you study at uni, when you study syllabus, the university syllabus is different. The question is very different. The way you approach questions is really different. And also you have to support with your work experience, right? So that gives you a bit of an edge wherever you go. They know you have additional qualification on top of your degree. And as I said, confidence means a lot for women. Means a lot for women. You need to kind of banking a lot of things that gives you confidence. Qualification, your communication, your self-care, your own self. When you do fitness like Leah did, you feel good about yourself. That bank in your confidence as well. Put as many as possible in the bank of your confidence. That confidence, if you have full of bank of confidence, wherever you go, it transpire in the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the way you dress up, the way you communicate with people, the way you present yourself in meetings, the way you speak to men in your career. So banking a lot of confidence in your bank. Yeah, do as many things as you can. MICPA is one of it. I mean, having additional qualification is one of it, so that you can carry it with you. It is with you. It's within you that you know this. You are a confident person. So that's my advice. I'm trying to keep it short because I know we have a time constraint. But do ask question after this if you want to know more.
Okay, we're doing good. We're doing good. Maybe Leah, do you want to add on? What about you? What would your advice be? Just to repeat it again, like from your perspective, how this qualifying program, the MICPA CAA NZ qualifying program, can empower women to take charge of their careers at different stages. Because again, we've said probably everyone in this call are at different stages of life. Some are currently taking the paper, some have taken it before they even started working. Some are still considering. So, what advice can you give?
I think programs like MICPA actually play a very important role. The initial reason why I took MICPA was because they say it's one of the hardest examination, but it's also open book. So at that point of time, I was thinking like, how can it be hard if it's open book? And that's why I applied for it. And I think the reason why I wanted to apply it, one of the reasons why I wanted to apply it is because I kind of want to prove myself that how can it be hard if it's open book? I just want to sort of like seek validation from this professional certification that if I pass this, if I complete this, this would give me not just the credibility, not just the confidence, but also the validation that I can complete one of the hardest professional certification, accounting certification. So that at that point in time, that was my thinking. I want it to empower me that way. So I think program like MICPA actually, because it's also globally recognized, like it's localized but also globally recognized. So this like you have a 2-in-1 kind of thing. So it gives me the credibility, confidence, and not to forget a strong professional network, because in MICPA I see a lot of other credible professionals being a MICPA member. And the thing is, when you have a globally recognized certification, right, it gives you the confidence to step forward. Whenever people ask me, oh, what kind of professional cert do you take? Oh, I take MICPA. Oh, wow, impressive. Like, it's not just the normal other professional certification. So when you tell them you're taking MICPA, okay. Because when I was working in the US, they were asking, so what kind of professional cert do you have? What kind of professional qualification do you have? Is it A or B? It's like, oh, I'm actually taking C, which is actually MICPA. But it's also globally recognized because it has this collaboration with CAA and Z. So they were impressed. They were actually impressed. So at the same time, that gives me the validation, which in turn actually helps with my confidence in dealing with people and gives me the confidence that actually I can do this, not just in work, but also in my character building. So whether it's taking more, responsibility or moving into leadership roles, or even if you're still early on your career and you're trying to explore different areas within the profession, because to be honest, what I'm currently doing is not really directly accounting related, but it's accounting adjacent. But my MICPA qualification actually still helps me in my area of work. So I feel like that's how this program actually helps to empower me at every stage of my life. That's
Awesome, amazing. Yeah, that's totally true. Like even myself, I am also no longer in accounting directly, it's accounting adjacent as well, I'd say. And I think because of the MICPA CANC qualifying program, it pretty much helped me shape the way I think. And it's not, again, as how I started this session, it's not just about the numbers, it's how those numbers help us understand things better, for us to make decisions, for us to question things, for us to voice out, our opinion, our suggestions. But yes, I totally agree. And what about you, Katherine? What would your advice be? How can this program boost women's career at any stage they're in?
Maybe I wouldn't repeat what Leah and Zatul have shared, right? So I think one of the advantage I would say is the open book, that not just because of it helps me to pass easier from my perspective, because I don't need to spend time memorizing the textbook, right? Which we sort of like being trained in the Malaysia education since young, right? To have a lot of memorizing, etc. But the syllabus itself does give me a different perspective, how things can be done differently, right? Because when you change a mode of how you actually learn something, it does help my life journey as well. Because then I realize that I don't need, there's multiple way, right? So that is the directly or indirectly change when actually talk up to people. Because I started out the paper actually quite earlier, like I mentioned, is during my last year of uni, right? So I had the advantage to actually finish the paper in first year of my when I started off the PwC. So everyone is sort of like impressed at how can you finish off the professional paper like so fast, right? So to me is that because I start earlier, and the rest of the people may not have know, okay, whether will you pass or fail. But when I go in and take all this paper, like what Leah shared, I have no perspective that why would I fail the paper, right? So with that mindset, actually, I sort of like try my best, and eventually I pass through the paper, and at least I still carry the mechanism on the learning process to even to my day-to-day work. I don't need to worry about, okay, whether it's time for me to get my professional paper, is that exam bar, and like what Zatul mentions, right? If I want to shift my memberships to ICAW or ACCA or whatever membership you want, it's not difficult, right? And I already have the foundations being set up by MICPA. So things get easier, I'll put it this way. I got less one thing to worry because I already picked that up at the onset. So probably that is what I mentioned in my earlier during my introduction, is that I think I sort of like I was glad that I made that decision at the point in my final year to actually sign up for this program, because in the final uni, you have to start finding for a sponsor, right? So you have to go through all this interview without knowing what is a corporate world mean to you. So it's kind of stress, but at the point we be like, oh, just try it. What if I get it? So I'm glad that actually I made that decision at the point. And maybe to the audience here, I think nothing called too late, right? So if this is something that helps moving forward, why not just start? And then it's not that difficult that what you taught, because again, you need to be confident at yourself, your capability, right? That you will be able to pass the people. So I think that's the perspective of some of the people why they actually not taking MICPA, is they worry, right? Because I also asked my subordinate is that how come you have not started any professional people? It is a very new phenomenon nowadays. Those days where everyone start the professions, they everyone okay, get the professional people so that within 3 years you get your membership. But I realize a new phenomenon now is that people not taking professional people yet because they are so worried they will fail the people, right? So even
True.
3 years, 4 years in the firm, they still not even started the paper because they will be like, I'm just too busy at work, too busy at family. So I worry that I didn't spend enough time on it, and I might fail the people. So I think that is a little bit worry from that perspective. But my only advice to everyone here is that just start, right? Once started, actually, it will reach there. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. You just have to start. Like whenever you want to try something new, it's always really scary, but all you have to do is just jump. And then you'll see whether then you'll have to run or you have to walk, you have to crawl, but you learn on the job. And if I may add on, just to share with everyone else, I think what additional boost that MICPA gave to me was actually an additional networking. And when I say networking, it's not necessarily someone at a higher level than I am. That's always a plus point. But it's also my peers. Because when I started my MICPA journey, I don't know what the requirement is like in the Big Fours now, but during my time, there was a requirement to settle the papers as fast as possible if you want to be eligible for a promotion. So there's progression and there's promotion. And if you want to get the promotion at a certain level, you have to have already passed, because then you would have to be certified or qualified by the time that you are at a role to lead a team. And I think that is very much fair because it brings a different sense of maturity when you have to lead a team, especially in audit. But back to my connections, I started my journey with 4 other ladies who surprisingly we started when we were single, and we are still very much friends now. I think 4 of us are with kids now, from when we started, and all of us always meet up and share different professional views because we are so diversified at what we are doing now. We started in audit, yes, that's pretty much the natural course of pathway for an accounting student. But after that, I think one is currently in a big consulting firm, myself and a Glick. There's 3 currently in Petronas, but all different departments doing different things. And it's always nice to still have that sense of allyship, to consistently boost each other. We are always giving each other advices on, okay, what do you think our next step of career could look like, even as a mother of 1, or maybe are we planning to have a second child? How would that look like in balancing that? Plus, potentially considering what other next step up in our career that we want to take. So MICPA pretty much give an over-encompassing benefit, I'd say. There are certain points that was covered by Zatul, by Leah, by Katherine, talking about pride, confidence. That is a major plus point. There's also at the fact of how it changes the way we think, highlighted by Katherine, how we are able to look from so many different point of view in solving a problem. And we haven't even begin to touch, other things like the soft skills that we developed, the communication skills, the presentation skills, the problem solving skills. I think the benefits are immense. So that being said, I want to move on to our next section, which is the Q&A. And I know that our RSVP included questions, and I want to give priority to the questions that is asked in the chat. There's one question. I just want to select this one question that was asked in the RSVP because it's related to this MICPA program real quick, just super duper quick. But I feel it would be best for me to pass this to our organizer, the MICPA team. The question here is that what are the benefits? I think that's pretty much covered by us. And process to become a MICPA member. So the process part, maybe Soraya, you can cover that a bit before I go into other questions.
Thank you very much, Oli. Wow, I'm seeing awe hearing you guys, the sharing from you guys. Very good. So going to that question, this is one thing. The current MICPA CANS qualifying program is actually improved much, much better. Back in 2022, I think during COVID, the program have revised. The structure is different. The content is different actually nowadays. We even embedded a future-focused content that are featuring like risk technology and AI. We have data analytics insights elective. We have sustainability for accountants elective. So very much align with what nowadays, the skills that a lot of employers are looking for towards the graduates. And I notice when I look at the attendees, although it's small, I can see there are some students here, which is, thank you so much also for joining, Anyway, it's pretty much straightforward in terms of our program. You have to take the program and then complete a 3 years working experience with an approved training employer. Okay. And you can qualify to obtain the dual membership of MICPA and CANS. So you can always start early if you want. If you're still in uni, you can start in as soon as in your final year. through a lot of sponsorship opportunities. Actually, of course, like what Katherine and Leah, they have gone through the MICPA student sponsorship program, actually SSP. And if I'm not mistaken, Ollie, you are also one of the scholar for Mara, right? So right now we have Yayasan Peneraju sponsorship for the students to take on opportunity. But I also noticed as a lecturer here, maybe some of our member, okay, do share this opportunity to whoever you know your contacts to find out more about programs. So to register, just go to our website and all the details are there. But pretty much briefly, you have to do the program, you have to work for 3 years, which is fine, guys, to qualify you guys. Then you can obtain and become a MICPA and CANS member proudly. So I hope that answered the questions. Back to you, Ollie.
Thank you, Surya. And as Raya said it very clearly, like myself, and I'm pretty sure all of my panels, I did my paper while I was working. So I was doing it part-time. So you get the 3 years straight away. So by the time you finish your paper, you just have an extra year, depending on how many times you can take the paper a year, depending on your employers. But nothing is impossible. There's always possible in impossibles. There's always perfect in imperfect. So, anything is doable. Okay, I'm gonna go through the question that we have on the webinar chat. We have one question, and then I'll go through the RSVP Q&A while, maybe we have some other questions coming in after that. So the question that came in is pretty much general, but I think I'm going to tweak it slightly a bit. And the question does not specify to who. So any of the panel, I think you guys can take it up. If you were to be given a chance again, so I would think again would be in re-going through your MICPA journey, will you choose to be single or get married while you go through that journey?
I can probably answer that question. I try.
Go ahead.
I try. Okay. I think ask yourself back, what difference does it make? Single or married, what difference does it make? It's just companion, life companion. You can always find companion whether with your husband or with your friends. It doesn't matter. Maybe support 24 hours, 24/7 support if you married. But there's pro and cons, right? In everyone. Like in my husband, there are 50% I like, 50% I don't like, maybe. So do you want to live 24/7 with that? It doesn't make a difference. Doesn't matter, single or married. If I were to answer directly to that question, if I were to look back whether I was to stay single and married, I don't know what the difference is. If I stay single, yes, I can probably focus on myself more, but I'll probably feel a bit lonely. But if I'm married, yes, my focus is divided between me and my family, but I have companion. So it doesn't make much. It depends on what you want in your life. Also, I think in in our religion believe that jodoh or our soulmate is given by God, right? Maybe you are not yet given by God your soulmate yet, or maybe there's none, or maybe it's soon. We don't know. These are all arranged. Yes, we feel like we found him. We feel like we are the one who pursue or being pursued, but it's all arranged by the superpower. So just focus on yourself, focus on your career, what you want to do. Whatever in you will attract the same vibes. If you are a good person, you want to be successful in your career, you are ambitious, you attract the right partner to you. If you focus on yourself, even though there's no partner attracted, doesn't matter. Focus on yourself, what you want in your life. Everything else, accessories given by the superpower. So that's my answer.
Okay. Anything to add on, Leah or Katherine? Or all good? I can move on to the next question.
I mean, if I may add,
Yeah.
when I did MICPA, I was single, but I was already in a relationship with my current husband. But he's not from an accounting background. He has no idea he may know what debit and credit is, but he does not know anything beyond that. So basically, when I told him I'm taking, I was in the midst of taking MICPA. So when I told him, actually on weekends I have to attend classes, there are some exams I have to take. Oh, like what? Like a master's degree or a PhD kind of thing? Oh no, it's a professional certification for accountants if you want to go to the next level. And he does not understand a single word I said, but he was there to support me through all of it. To be honest, I failed a couple of times on my MICPA paper. Yes, it's open book. Yes, it's one of the hardest exam ever. Yes, you can fail if you don't focus. But I did complete it. But I was single when I completed it. I was in a relation with him, but I was not married yet. He doesn't know what MICPA is. He doesn't know what a professional qualification is in accounting. He does not have an accounting background, but he was there throughout it all to support me in whatever I do. So if given the chance again, to do MICPA single or married, like Zatul said, like it doesn't really make a difference. You could be single, you could be married. If your goal is to complete MICPA and you have the correct support system, whether it's from your friends, your partner, your husband, it doesn't matter. As long as you know what your goal is, you focus on that, and you have the right support system to help you go through it, then either way, it's all the same, basically.
True. Katherine, do you want to add on anything? Or you're good?
No, I'm good.
Okay, all right. I totally agree. It shouldn't matter in a sense, but I would like to share an example which might make me look pro-marriage, but there's certain factors that needs to be met, in a sense that I found my husband in audit in MICPA. But because we are in the same industry, we studied at the same university, we've known each other for the longest of time. So it was helpful. On top of the girl group that I had him to study together with. And the struggle after long hours in audit and then going home, either eating during that time McDonald's or something, whatever, mama or something, while studying, because you have put a schedule that irregardless of how late you come back, you have to clock in at least 2 hours of study. It helped. Because I remember, sorry, I said there's students in here. So it seems that this conversation is pretty much swerving towards a love advice. But again, it doesn't matter. I'm just giving you an example that for me, I did it married and I wouldn't have it in any other way, because it gave me the extra motivation and boost to score higher. And I did, just saying. But yes, so thank you for that question, Meili. All right, so I think we have about 3 minutes left, but I'm just going to take a bit of your time to just cover one more question from the RSVP. And this is actually a very saucy question. So I have my book here because I have to read it out verbatim. Okay, so this question is saucy, and I leave it to the panel to answer. But the question is, does special treatment for the prettiest women still exist in the corporate life, and how do we overcome it? So this question is asking, is there still such thing as pretty privilege in the corporate world? And I think we have 3 different areas, one specifically in audit, one in SC, one in the UK, freelancing. So maybe I would also like to hear from each one of you. Anyone can start. Maybe Katherine. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I will just take first. I would say, okay, I don't think it's specific just for gender, right? So I am not so much on a direct impact, but I must say that there will be indirect implications on the way we carry ourselves, because we are a profession, right? So it's not so much on the natural appearance, whether you look pretty or you look handsome, right? I guess it's the way you carry yourself to be professional. right? And how you dress up yourself. I think that's somehow matter, because like it or not, the first impressions is crucial. Like if you were to attend a board meeting, I wouldn't expect someone just walk in with a slipper and t-shirts, right? So casual, right? So someone will have to just still dress up with a suit, right? At the very bare minimum, maybe a tie, right? So I think that is the way we carry ourselves. I don't think it's so much on whether there's an advantage if you are a pretty looking person or a handsome looking person. Yes, maybe from an approachable perspective, yes, maybe at the first sense, you are more approachable because human nature, right? You're attracted to something that is pretty or handsome, that's look good, right? But that's only the first click. But subsequently, how you carry yourself with your appearance and also the way you speak, I think that's a little bit more weight towards to the career path, I would say, right? Because you wouldn't want to speak to someone, sorry to say that, someone that looks pretty, but actually there's no context in any conversation with the person. You can't even get someone to actually solve your problem. Then the answer is very obvious, right? You wouldn't get that kind of advantage. At least I would say not in a professional career path that we are in, right? Maybe if you are in, I don't know, e-commerce kind of industry, yes, maybe appearance does have that advantage. But I guess I don't observe a direct advantage if so much on how you look like. It's more like how you carry yourself. Yeah. So maybe to the other panel, see if you want to add on.
For me, I think it's sort of like a double-edged sword kind of thing. People are most likely to help you if you're pretty. Most research actually shows that pretty privilege actually helps in first impressions, but then people are also less likely to treat you like an expert if you're pretty. So there's actually a research on this. But actually competence, confidence, your credibility actually dominates how you perform in your long-term career outcomes. Because in, like Katherine said, in an industry like us where everything is analytical, is very technical, credibility usually matters far more than experience. So the thing is, it's not really having pretty privilege or overcoming pretty privilege, thinking that someone prettier has better chances than me. It's actually building a professional gravity where people kind of automatically would look up to you, would find you when you speak. So, when you start speaking, people automatically listens instead of like that. Become the person who knows, become the subject matter expert in what you do. So I think this is the most powerful equalizer lah. If people keeps thinking like, oh, Oli is the go-to person to ask about this kind of thing. So when people has this kind of mindset, appearance becomes sort of irrelevant. So in our line of work, you would be regarded as the person who understands, the person who knows, the go-to person. This would help you far better in your career than just having a pretty face. But then again, it's better to have a pretty face and also a really pretty brain. That's even better lah. But if you have a big, beautiful brain, that would help you in the long run. It will really help you in your career journey. That's what I think personally.
Agreed. Zatul?
Yeah, I can add a bit more. You guys must heard this pretty lies on the eyes of the beholder, right?
Yeah.
So prettiness is subjective. Some people I think is pretty. Some people not, but maybe my husband has different view. My friend has different view. So prettiness is very subjective. It's not, there's no general or specific definition of how pretty the person is. But have you come across when you see someone, at first you see, oh, she's pretty or he's handsome, but when they speak or when they carry themselves, when they do the work, and it become less and less pretty or less and less handsome? In the UK, I came across Brad Pitt lookalike, George Clooney lookalike. Who else handsome? Those are my time. I do not know nowadays, you guys, young people, who you think handsome. They are very good looking, and I interview them. At first, they come into the room, wow, this guy is handsome. Okay, come, sit down. And then when they speak, when they express their competence or explain to me what they do, what they like, the personality, it, if they're not competent enough, it goes down very quickly. Within 5-10 minutes, I don't think he's as handsome as I thought he is. You know, it goes down it's very subjective. So back to what Catherine and Leah said, is the way you carry yourself, is the way you present yourself. That's what attract people. Attractiveness is not down to physical. It's down to your intelligence, your confidence, your impression you give people, and how to give that impression is banking on knowledge. Be knowledgeable, read, practice, take challenges, polish up your skills. That gives you the boost your confidence, give you the intelligence, give you the competence, and that sells you, not prettiness, not physical looking. If they judge on prettiness in the working world, I wouldn't be finance director right now. I wouldn't have clients after clients after clients asking for my service. I wouldn't, because I'm not that pretty. If you see me, if you met me physically, Soraya have met me physically, Eileen have met me, I'm a very short, petite Asian girl. And I wouldn't go far if they're based on prettiness. So remember, remove all this judgment, remove all the artificial impression, because it's very subjective. It's the way you carry yourself, the way you present yourself. And I just want to share one tips that boosts my confidence this year. One thing that I really want to stick on. Just one small little thing that can boost confidence. Just an example. I read somewhere early in the year before New Year that one of the things that, you look after yourself is smell good. So every day I try to smell good, like put lotions on my body. Even the weekend, even I don't go to work, I want to smell good. I want to, so that I know if I smell good, I feel good about myself. When I feel good about myself, people feel good about me when they come near me, when they approach me, because I send the vibe that I'm confident, I'm good, I smell nice. So that's just little thing that boosts confidence. It doesn't have to be big thing, buy Gucci bag or buy branded clothing. It doesn't have to be that. It's what you feel inside. That's what transpires. That's how people see you.
You are totally right. All three of you are incredibly totally right. I very much agree with you guys. And I just want to share this one quote. I had to Google it because I forgot the exact word. But I just saw this on Instagram posting or something, but it said, pretty privilege might get you in the door, but competence is what keeps you in the room. And that was exactly what all three of our beautiful panelists have said the past few minutes. And I think I don't have anything much to add on, because that was very much compact and concise and complete, I would say. So with that being said, we are already at about 7 minutes past 5. We are at the end. So as we come to the end of our session today, I just want to say a big thank you to our incredible panelists, Zatul, Katherine, Leah. Everyone give a reaction, clap, clap. Thank you so much, guys, ladies, for sharing your experiences, your insights, honest reflections with us. And I'm sure everyone in this webinar has taken away something very valuable from the conversations that we have. And today's theme, Women Who Count, Give to Gain, really reminds us that success isn't just measured by numbers or titles, but it's also the impact that we have on others through mentorship, through support, through the willingness to lift each other up, which, as you guys have said, will potentially lift us up as well. And if there's one thing that's clear from today's conversation, is that when women support women, everyone gains. So thank you as well to MICPA for organizing this meaningful session in conjunction of IWD 2026 International Women's Day. And of course, thank you everyone for being such a wonderful audience. And I hope we get to meet you guys virtually or physically in another session. So I'll pass the floor back to Soraya.
Thank you very much, Oli. I think if we in a physical event right now, I can imagine everyone clap. Okay, so give a round of applause, guys. Whether at the back using reaction button, because I think today's session is super, super awesome. Thank you to Katherine, Leah, Zatul for, and of course, our perfect great moderator Oli for actually driving this year forum to a success. Okay, participants, I know we passed by a bit of the time. I'm so sorry for that, but thank you so much for staying. Before we let you go, we would love to hear some feedback from all of you. Like I mentioned at the beginning, it would definitely help us in improving our future events, and also to ensure we cover more interesting and diverse topics in the future. So you guys can scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the chat and do share your thoughts. So since we have reached the end of today's session, thank you so much again to everyone for joining us. I would like to also to take this opportunity to invite all the audience here to follow MICPA on our social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn. We are even in TikTok. Okay, do follow us for updates on upcoming events, more information about the MICPA Cairns qualifying program, and many more. So we hope to see you again. To all our Muslim friends, Salam Ramadan, Selamat berbuka puasa. To everyone else, take care, stay safe, stay healthy. Last but not least, happy International Women's Day to everybody. Have a lovely celebration this weekend. Bye-bye. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.